All right. I think we are live from Grand Turk, Turks and Caicos. Driver kept calling it Caicos. I keep wanting to call it Caicos. So, it's very warm out here. Ship time is 1:18 p.m. I'm several hours above what I thought I was going to do in terms of when to do the live stream today, but we're changing our plans, so I'm calling an audible, as they say in football terminology. And so we did an excursion this morning, which was somebody like next either side of us, like a door slam. Let's see, we did an excursion this morning that was local sightseeing at Caicos, or Grand Turk. It's a very small island. The camera is actually pointed. You can't see it too much because it's just too far away. But the camera's pointed directly at the pool area for the Margaritaville Resort. So, kind of in the center of the screen, a little bit to the right, like the white roof, is the Margaritaville Resort here at Grand Turk, and that thing is massive. I mean, this is probably one of the largest Margaritavilles that I've ever seen. And it's just the resort, just the restaurant / pool party area. It's not a resort, no hotel. But as I was saying, this island is very small. So essentially it just took us on a tour, like a little air-conditioned bus, and we stopped at several places and got off, took pictures. I was recording video the whole time, of course. And they took us to this one little place, and we had like a conch sampler, which was really, really, really good. And then they gave us like a little lunch, and so that was kind of cool. So we had lunch here in Grand Turk instead of eating on the ship. And we came back. We were contemplating this beautiful beach, but it's pretty busy. So we decided to do a little shopping, came back to the ship, primarily because, as you see here, no mask. Because both at San Juan, actually at all three, San Juan, here at Grand Turk, and also at Amber Cove, all three of them, we've had to wear the mask outside the whole time. So it's pretty much as soon as you get off the ship, or you're wearing it on the ship. So as soon as you leave the stateroom, it's like masked the entire time. Annoying. So we were looking forward to getting the mask off, because after hours and hours and hours of wearing it, it just grinds. So if we'd stayed on the beach, you can take the mask off on the beach. But beautiful area. This is their winter time, and so he's telling us that it's my watch says it's 80 degrees out here, and this is as cold as it gets. So in the summer it gets much hotter than this, apparently, at Grand Turk. And but interestingly, this little island where Grand Turk is not the main touristy destination that people like fly into and stay. There are no like 5-star resorts. There's a tiny little airport. I don't even know where it is, somewhere over here, that like handles little tiny planes. And so if you're going to come to the Turks and Caicos and you stay at one of the big resorts, it's at a different island that's ways away from here, 70, 80 miles away from here, and in another area of the island chain. So this little island is almost exclusive to cruise ships, primarily. Like this little village that the camera's pointing at, this is only really active when there are ships in port. So this entire island, from a touristy standpoint, is just cruise ships, right? That's it. So pretty cool. I'm sure there are a ton of water-related activities that you can do. For this particular cruise, we decided not to do any water-related. We'd never been here before. We figured we would just kind of take it easy and do like a local sightseeing tour, which is what this was. The one yesterday in Amber Cove was kind of a similar local sightseeing tour. with a little bit of food thrown in there. The one for San Juan was similar, local sightseeing tour, because we'd been to San Juan, Puerto Rico once before in 2016 to embark on the adventure of the seas, but we had never been there for a port stop. So all three destinations on this cruise we were just kind of doing just touristy, sightseeing kind of stuff, a little bit of shopping here and there. At Amber Cove and here, they have a very nice duty-free shop that you have to walk through in order to get back to the ship. And so we stopped and bought several bottles of alcohol because we're not flying, so we get back to Port Canaveral, we just have to drive home. And so all we have to do is essentially just figure out how to pack them in the suitcases, and I think we can do that. So, so a little bit of shopping. So checking in with you guys here for the live stream for a little while, and then, probably early dinner tonight. There's a lot of activity in the center stage, entertainment-wise. They were doing a Vegas show last night, and they ran into some weird technical issue at the end of the show, and so the last 10-15 minutes got cut off. I think they're not doing that one again tonight. They're doing a different one tonight, and then tomorrow night on center stage they do some sort of a all in this together wrap up show of some sort. So if you're doing a future cruise on the Mardi Gras, it's a pretty cool ship. It's I might have mentioned this in a previous live stream, but if you haven't seen that, it's a very restaurant and bar focused ship. So from a design standpoint, it felt like they're like, okay, we got to get X number of restaurants and bars in there on the ship, and then so we'll give them the prime, spacing and arrangement, whatever you want to call it. And then it's like, okay, if there's room left over, then we'll see how many staterooms we can get in there, and if we got room left over, we'll throw a buffet up there, and we'll throw like a little water park for the kids, and no running track. There's no running track on the ship, but there's a walking track that's in the way of the sports deck, so it's kind of like so it's a very restaurant and bar focused ship. And so like last night for dinner, for instance, we were walking right up on the lead up on deck 16, and the only place that you could eat dinner at around 6 o'clock-ish last night was the seafood shack. All of the rest of the places, the Blue Iguana Cantina, Shack's Big Chicken, all the other things on that deck, on deck 16, were not open for dinner, right? Just like, let's push everybody into the restaurants. We even walked through the Lido Marketplace, and there was food there, but it was kind of like, if you want a super quick little chill included dinner, so last night we had dinner at Seafood Shack. It was really good, fish and chips. Of course there was a surcharge for it, so it was like $8 a piece. So it's kind of the same thing as if you went to like a little place on land and bought fish and chips. So different for what we're used to, but not necessarily bad. Just different for us personally, individually, because we're used to Royal Caribbean and they do things differently over there. This ship is so new that this ship feels like they're borrowing or they're jumping on the bandwagon of that restaurant deal, right? Like we were on Scarlet Lady in November of last year, and it was nothing but restaurants. There is no main dining room, there is no buffet. And this is a little bit of a combination of the restaurants like that are included with the fare, right, which is Shebang and Cucina del Capitano, right? And then separate from those two, you have the Palm, and then you have there's another one down there, I forgot the name of it. So there's like 2 main dining rooms, and then a couple of included restaurants, and then all the rest of the restaurants there's a charge for them. So we did last night for dinner. We did Fahrenheit 555, and it was $38 a person, and it's their steakhouse on board, and it was excellent. I had the filet mignon. It was cooked pretty close to perfection. It was a little pinker than what it's supposed to be for medium, which is what I told them medium. A little too much pink, but it was very close. It was excellent in terms of like the flavor and the overall cut. They just didn't. They got it like 95% there in terms of what I would consider to be medium. But hey, the rest of it was good. It was a very slow process though, because the entire dinner took probably a little over 2 hours. And part of that was just the reservation was 8:30, and we get there at 8:30, and they're not even close to ready for us. So we were 20 minutes late, just even sort of checking in at the hostess station. So, it's just one of those things. But basically, if you're going to do dinner Fahrenheit 555, it's going to probably take a while. So you'll want to manage your, similar to how you would do on the Scarlet Lady, you'll want to manage your reservations very carefully. If you don't do them ahead of time in the Carnival website, then as soon as you get on board the ship where the Carnival Hub app is up and running, you'll want to make your reservations like right out of the gate, which we did not do because we're used to doing main dining room for dinner. Not usually, especially restaurants. We're used to like buffet for breakfast and sort of main dining room for buffet for breakfast and lunch, and main dining room for dinner. And it's kind of funny because on here, all of that sort of got flipped around on its head. We ate lunch in the buffet on embarkation day, and I think that's the only time we've eaten in the buffet. And we ate at the Palm restaurant, which is essentially their main dining room, the first night, and it was kind of And so the rest of the mornings for breakfast, we've gone down to Java Blue. One morning we went to the bistro. For lunch, we did Blue Iguana Cantina once or twice. We've just sort of here and there mix and match. A couple things where lunch was provided through the excursion, which we sort of knew that was coming. So that took care of yesterday's and today's. So the food is just kind of pretty cool, different. There's such a large variety that you don't have to be locked down to just the what we're used to doing with the buffet and the main dining room. So I don't know if you can hear the music. Probably can, maybe a little bit. So there's at Margaritaville Resort that's straight in front of you in the center of the screen, a little bit to the right where the white roof is. There's a DJ. I don't know if it's a DJ. There's somebody over there playing music for that pool area. So they have it piped into the pool area that's a little bit on the other side of those trees, and then they also have speakers that are sort of pointing it out down at the beach. So it's sort of covering the entire Margaritaville area. So the music you're hearing is likely coming from there. And then this morning, when we first got up, we came out on the balcony, and then when we were getting off the ship, there's when you go through the duty free and you come out into the open area, there's a little area over there in one corner where there's a band that plays over there. So there's a little 2-3 person band that's playing Caribbean music. But they've apparently stopped because it's 1:30, so I guess they're out there early in the morning. So right now what you would be hearing is coming from the Margaritaville Resort. So, but this is Grand Turk. The excursion this morning was pretty cool. Our driver was giving a ton of information, almost talking the whole time, which was kind of cool. Telling us all about life on the island, and you know. We can see similarities to other places we've been. There's an area over here with salt flats that remind us of Bonaire that we saw on a Southern Caribbean cruise. And then parts of it feel a little bit like Aruba. So, you know, we are down in the Caribbean, so I guess in some respects, some of these places sort of run together. Like you see one and then you go to another one and it's like, well, that kind of looks like the other one. The sort of like welcome area here, like when you first come off the ship and you go through the duty free and you come out into that area where all the shopping is very, very reminiscent of Amber Cove, Dominican Republic. I mean, almost to a T, like the same company designed and built both of them. Oh, and one other thing too that was kind of cool today is they pushed our departure back by an hour, because I think originally we were supposed to do all on board at 3:30 and depart at 4, and now we're all on board at 4:30. And I don't know if we're departing like soon after that or if they're going to do an extra half hour, but let's see if I can move this camera down. This camera is like sitting on the ledge of my balcony. It's like if I can get it just right without it falling off. There we go. Give you a little bit better view of that water and how beautiful that water is. And you might see little bits and pieces of yellow down there. Those are people swimming and doing some snorkeling and laying out on the rafts and just kind of doing their thing out there. So it's basically that cruise life, as people would say. The one of the good things about doing a live stream at this time is that the internet, the Wi-Fi is cooperating, which is probably correlates to most of the people are still on the island and off the ship. So it seems to prove my theory that the Carnival Mardi Gras, even though it is a newer ship, does not have the capacity on Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi capacity that you would sort of expect. It's like the Wi-Fi setup here can only handle a certain volume of passengers, even though the ship handles more than that. So I don't want to beat the drum too much on that, but it is definitely going to factor into my review. I've had a lot of problems throughout the cruise, so right now though it's cooperating. So this is the cruise life. If you're watching this after the fact, let me know if you've ever been to Grand Turk in the comments. If you have, what did you think of the island, and would you come back, and did you not get to do certain things? Like for me, looking at this water and looking at the vast amount of water related activities that you can do here, if I were to come back on a future cruise, I think I would have to take a second look at the list of excursions and either pick a water related excursion, or I would have to pack and dress for like coming off the ship and going straight to the beach. And speaking of that, the distance is not too to the left of where the camera is, right? Because the camera's looking kind of at the Margaritaville Resort that is part of the, the cruise port area, right? The cruise terminal area. So to the left of the camera, if you imagine like left looking down, going down the beach, there's a public beach area over there, Governor's Beach. So that's a very popular area. I don't want to turn the camera because like I'm sitting perfectly on the ledge right now. But Governor's Beach, they run a shuttle service that runs every couple of minutes back and forth between the cruise terminal and Governor's Beach, and it's kind of cool because it's like these old, like those big long school buses, like the yellow school bus. It's a couple of those, and they've got them all painted up on the outside, Junkanoo party tour or something, and they just run those back and forth. So if you wanted to get off the ship and go to Governor's Beach, you'd get off, you would go through
Very good afternoon. This is just a PA test system. Once again, this is just a PA test.
PA test. Okay. Oh, earlier, one of the the Carnival Relation is on the other side of us. And one of the ships earlier was doing the full, emergency drill. So the ship's horn went off, the 7 short blasts and 1 long blast. And that was kind of interesting. But if you wanted to go to Governor's Beach, so you come off the ship, go down the port, go through the duty-free into the little area, and then there's a walkway where you go out of the cruise terminal area, and there's shuttles and whatever buses and stuff over there for going on excursion stuff. And that Junkanoo shuttle would pick you up there and take you 5 minutes away over to Governor's Beach and pick up and drop off.
Very good afternoon. This is just a PA test.
So, the cool thing is at the end of our little excursion that does the tour of the island, they stopped at Governor's Beach and offered, hey, if anybody wants to get off here, then you can just get off here, spend time at the beach, and then just take the shuttle back to the terminal. And then, everybody else that was on the bus that did not want to do that, they just stayed on the bus, and then he took us back to the terminal, and our excursion was over. So we thought about it for a minute, but I don't know, just decided to come back and do shopping and just get back on board the ship. So Maria's down in the thermal suites right now, and then I think she's going to go hit the pool up on the upper deck, up on the Lido deck, since most of the people are probably still off the ship. The pool up on the Lido is probably a safe bet right now. It's probably not too crowded. And, yeah. Tomorrow's day at sea, which will be Friday the 18th. And then Saturday morning at 6 o'clock or 6:30 or some extremely early time, we pull back into Port Canaveral. Get off the ship and drive back to Oakland.
It's just PA test. Once again, just PA test.
So at this point, I'm just going to shut up and leave the camera running. And if anybody's got comments or questions, let me know. Hey, what's up, Kent? Hope you're doing well. If you're enjoying the November 2022, you will have a lot of time to research and study up. I don't know how long you've been on board or online, but I was sort of relaying my experience earlier with what we've been doing for the last 24 hours. Maybe going to Grand Turk. Here you go. This is what you'd be looking at right here. Center of the screen is the Margaritaville Resort, which is massive. The white buildings, the white rooftops that you see that are kind of in the center of the screen, but a little bit to the right, is the resort itself. And then just to the left of that, which is kind of in the center of the frame, is the pool area for the Margaritaville Resort, and it's a huge, huge pool. It's one of those. If you've ever been to the Perfect Day Coca-Cola Island for Royal Caribbean, that pool is one of those big ones that sort of just keeps going and wraps around, and there are little walkways that go over it. And there's a flow rider over there and all kinds of stuff. You'll be on the horizon in a week, maybe going to Grand Turk. A lot of cool water-related activities, as you can see how beautiful the water is here. The beach is very nice. Governor's Beach is just to the left of the camera, just down that way. I was mentioning a minute ago that there is a school bus. What do they call it? Like a little shuttle service with school buses that take you here from the port area right over to Governor's Beach, back and forth all day. A lot of people do that. When we were coming back from our excursion earlier, there were a ton of people that were leaving the port and getting on the Junkanoo bus to go over to Governor's Beach. I think you can see it in the camera, the blue chairs that are on the beach right in front of us, those are all kind of like, this is a public beach, and then the right side of the screen is kind of the beach area that's in front of Margaritaville Resort. It's 1:45, so I guess maybe some people have come back on the ship by now, but earlier when we finished our excursion at about 11 o'clock in the morning, that beach was just packed. Like every one of those blue beach chairs was taken up. And we are on a regular stateroom balcony. We're on deck 9, port side forward, so I can kind of look up and see the pilot or the captain's bridge. The Haven suites are right below us on deck 8, so no, we do not have a spot. Just a regular old balcony, ocean view balcony. But I have to say that I really like the balcony staterooms on here. They're a little narrower, so like when you first walk in, if you've ever been on other cruise ships, like Royal Caribbean ships or whatever, the stateroom might seem a little narrow to you. It's normal depth in terms of like, from the stateroom door all the way to the balcony, to the sliding glass door that would come out of the balcony. So the length of the stateroom is fine, but the width is just a little bit narrower than what we've seen before. But the rest of the stateroom is very nice. Of course, it's a brand new ship, so it just launched in August of 2021, I think. And I love the bathroom. I just love the entire stateroom. It's very well laid out. There's a very nice desk area, plenty of plugins for power. Little USB plug-in ports plus regular 110 outlets. It has like little nighttime reading lights next to the bed on both sides, and even right over here behind this window, there's a sofa that comes out into a bed, and it's got a little night reading light, and very nice, huge cabinet or like closet to hang your clothes. So as soon as you come in the stateroom door, immediately on your right, 2 large floor-to-ceiling cabinets for putting clothes in and stuff. The safe is in there. The bathroom is nice, very well apportioned, and the little area where you take a shower is actually pretty nice, because on like a Royal Caribbean ship, it's like a little circle. So it's like just barely big enough for you to kind of get in there. But here it's a little bit more rectangular shaped and bigger. And I don't know, I just like the entire stateroom. So the whole thing is very nice, very well apportioned. So, and no, we do not have a spa. I have no idea what those run in terms of cost. So we're just used to typical balcony staterooms. That's about all we need. Fifth deck balcony on the Mardi Gras. Nice. Nice. So let's see. You will be fifth deck. So you'll be right down there where the lifeboats are. Yeah. So you're going to have a lower level balcony. Ooh, that's a good question. Is the fifth deck the promenade? This ship doesn't really have a promenade. It's a very interesting design. The best way to think of this ship is
nice. Walking, man.
Decks 6, 7, and 8 together sort of form like what you would think of as a promenade. Right. Because there's an area in the middle of that called the Grand Central.
No, it's not the other end.
3-level open atrium.
Yep.
And
long walk too.
Sorry about that. Usually get the cove balcony. Yeah, I don't know much about the cove balcony, but it's not really a promenade. You'll spend most of your time on 6, 7, and 8, and then a lot of time on deck 16 because that's the Lido deck, which is very, very cool. The main pool is up there. Let's see. Shack's Big Chicken is in the back. There's a pool in the back area too, like it's like an aft view. It's got a bar back there called the Tides. The Lido Marketplace is back there, so the buffet is on deck 16, kind of towards the back. So 16 is a pretty cool deck. You'll spend a lot of time there, and then you'll want to check out deck 18, which 18 forward, which is where the adults area is. So you'll definitely spend some time up there too, because there's a pretty nice adult area up there. That's I'm drawing a blank. What do they call that? There's a whole area up there. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Nope, Oakland, Florida. Oakland, Florida. It's a tiny little area just west of Orlando. Like a blink and you miss it. So we're basically in the suburbs of Orlando, Florida. But there's Oakland, Florida. Kind of funny, I get confused with Oakland, California quite a bit. So Google Alerts comes up with Oakland, California stuff when they send it to me, and I'm like, I'm not in California, I'm in Florida. Hey, Lucy. Lucy's mom, excuse me. Maria's doing well. She is, let's see, Maria is currently in the what do you call it? The thermal suite. She's down there enjoying the thermal suite. Oh, Kit, you're in Louisiana. That's cool. LSU territory, I take it. I went to Auburn University, so don't hold that against me. Grand Turk was really cool. We did the little excursion today where you go around and you do like the local sightseeing. It's supposed to be like sample conch, have like a little local lunch, and then do like a museum stop. And the museum is closed, so they took us over where the lighthouse was on the north side of the island. So we did that instead. But about a 2-hour tour of the island, because the island's not very big. Came back, did a little shopping at the port area over here where the camera is kind of pointed at. And Maria got a t-shirt in the Margaritaville Resort, or Margaritaville Restaurant. And came back on the ship. I just have to say this Margaritaville is massive. I don't know if you can hear the music, but that's coming from them. So you cruised on the Crown Princess in 2006. The Tour of the Scarlet Lady. Yep. Scarlet Lady. Very interesting ship. And as a matter of fact, Virgin Voyages was in the news over the other day because they just opened their new terminal in Miami. Thanks for watching, Kent. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel with the notification bell on, so you get notified whenever I put up more videos.
You talking about Francine?
I've got a huge.
About Francine, you thought about her?
We've got a lot of video footage from this trip, so you'll make sure you're subscribed so you see all the vlogs and everything. It's one of the first times I've been out here, and I can hear one of the neighbors on either side of us. Yeah, at Long Beach. She's at the thermal suite. Oh boy. On the Scarlet Lady. Oh boy. When we were on the Scarlet Lady, it took us a while to get used to the layout. It took probably halfway through the cruise to start to remember where everything was, because they don't have a lot of signage on there, so it was hard to sort of figure out where you're at on the Scarlet Lady and sort of where you're going. So that was a little challenging. You can hear Eye of the Tiger, yeah. That's coming from the Margaritaville Resort over there, which is way up there on the beach. So they were playing Ice Ice Baby earlier when we were over there, and I think they played the Cha-Cha Slide at one point, and all kinds of recognizable, stuff for all the touristy crowd that's over there, hanging out at the pool area. So 2 o'clock, so we still have another couple of hours, 2.5 hours before everybody has to be back on board the ship. So I'm not sure how long they'll stay out there. Still quite a few people on the beach. Hey Jesse, thank you for joining us. Yep, the Mardi Gras is pretty amazing. I've recorded a ton of footage. I'm going to be putting together a tour of the ship. I'll do a review. Been kind of putting together some notes from my cruise review, and then of course tons and tons of vlog footage from the entire cruise. Lucy, one of my favorites, Margaritaville Resort. This is not the resort. This is the Margaritaville restaurant. So there's no place for anybody to stay. It's no hotel rooms or nothing like that, right? But it's got a massive pool area. It's a 2-story restaurant. They used to have lunch there at whatever. Of course, a huge bar area. There's sort of like a bar area inside on the lower level, and then there's also like a bar area on the outside, kind of on the beach side. And then there's a big, well, not big, but there's like a nice shop in there where you can buy t-shirts and stuff like that. So it's just a very big Margaritaville restaurant, I guess. I'm thinking of resort, if it's a resort, you could stay there, and you can't. So this is a restaurant, but it's very large. It's very nice. It's sort of the kind of the centerpiece, I guess, if you want to call it that, of this whole deal at Grand Turk. So, but Jesse, so you're going to be on the Mardi Gras. Have you ever been on here before? Will this be your first time? This was our first time. We normally do Royal Caribbean, so I wanted to come on here and kind of get the lay of the land from Carnival, from the travel advisor perspective, so that I could, advise clients what the Mardi Gras is like and the Carnival experience is like. Because we're normally Royal Caribbean, so we're diamond level Crown and Anchor. But when the Mardi Gras came out last year, it's like, okay, we'll have to go check that out. So. Is this one new here at Grand Turk? I don't know. It's very nice. I don't know how new it is, but it's certainly very nice, very popular. It's a really cool experience here because you could come off the ship, go through the duty free. You have to go through there when you come from the ship. Take a left and go right to the Margaritaville Resort, and just go spend the entire day at the pool area at Margaritaville, or you could come after spending time at the Margaritaville pool, and there's also a float rider over there, and then you could come right down here to the beach, which is right in front of me, which is what the camera's looking at. So you could spend your entire Grand Turk time right here on the public beach and at the Margaritaville sort of restaurant here, and that's it. Never, this will be our first time, fourth on Carnival, staying on deck 4. Okay. So the Mardi Gras is probably going to be different in several ways. There's a very big push on the Mardi Gras for restaurant and bar. So the way I would think of the Mardi Gras is when they were planning this ship, they must have been like, okay, we need to get X number of bars, X number of restaurants on there, and then whatever's left over, we'll see how many staterooms we can put on there, and then if there's more room left over, we'll put a buffet up there, and we'll put like a walking track and maybe a little place for the kids up on deck 18, and that's it. And so it's just very heavily geared towards restaurants, bars, very nice pools. There's the Lido pool, deck 16 middle. There's the Tides pool at the back, deck 16 aft. There's the Serenity Pool, that's the name of it. Serenity Pool, deck 18 forward. And then there's, on deck 8, there's a pool at the back, right outside Pig and Anchor, which is a very interesting thing because when you're on deck 8 and you go all the way aft to Pig and Anchor restaurant, you come out of the double doors out of the Pig and Anchor, and there's like a pool area back there with a nice deck. So deck 8 is pretty cool. But the Margaritaville the Mardi Gras is very heavily geared towards restaurant bars. So, and there's a lot to do. And you take into account center stage, which is a huge performance area. It's kind of midship, and it's decks 6, 7, and 8 together that sort of look down onto the stage, right? So you've got seating down on 6 right there at stage level, and the decks 7 and 8 that look down on it. And like I said, I've recorded so much footage, so I'm going to be putting together, ship tour, ship review, and then a vlog series for probably take me a couple of years to go through all the video we've recorded on the both on the ship and on shore during the excursions we've done. So if you're keeping track of the music, you can probably hear the wham, and that's coming from Margaritaville. So they've got I don't know if it's a DJ, but they've got a person over there or something over there playing music for the pool area, So they've got speakers over there aimed at the pool, and then they've got the same like speakers over here aimed at the ship that are kind of covering the beach area that you're seeing on the camera. So that's why you're hearing the music coming from Margaritaville. Is they've got it pointed in two different directions there. So, and then this morning there was a band that plays over in the. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. You probably can't. But on the very far right side of the camera, there are some flags that are flying. I don't know if you can see those or not. But there's an area over there where you check in for your excursions, and there's a band that plays over there. So this morning we could hear them when we got off the ship. So there's a couple different sources of music here. Yeah, this is the ship life. We've had perfect weather here. It's around, according to my watch, it's 80 degrees. Our guy that was doing the tour excursion this morning was telling us that this is their winter, so it doesn't get any colder than basically what we're experiencing right now. So 80 degrees is your floor. So you 80 and warmer, louder than the Lido deck. Yeah, I attempted to do a live stream from the Lido deck a couple of days ago, and that didn't work. Oh, now we've got Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, so I don't know if you can hear that or not. But yeah, everybody's enjoying the water out here. It's pretty clear. I see people dancing in the water. This area directly in front of me that you can kind of see in the camera down towards the bottom of the camera frame, it's mostly just kind of swimming. There's a barrier where you can't come any closer to the ship. I don't see anybody snorkeling in here. There were a couple of people earlier that kind of looked like they might have been snorkeling, but it's mostly just swimming. Oh, Jesse, I'm sorry. Michigan, 8 inches of snow tonight. Oof. Yep. You know, the guy was talking about that on the excursion. It's like, well, you know, it's February, it's winter. Everybody comes down here to get away from the snow. Yeah. First on MJ. Yep. Oh, I recognize the drums from Billie Jean like right away. So. Yeah, the water's beautiful here. Let me see if I can give you a little tour here. I have the camera sitting on like a perfect spot on the ledge of the balcony, so I'm going to attempt to show you around a little bit and then see if I can put it back where I've got it. So you can kind of see the turquoise water there. And then it's not a very big island. There's Governor's Beach right there, kind of right in that area. You see this kind of centered the frame. That's Governor's Beach. And then got this little area here. This is just basically one big long beach. It kind of one thing blends into another. And then pull around over here. You can see those flags flying. That's kind of where the little shopping is for the port area. You can see how clear the water is.
Frank, you see me going down there?
Just a very beautiful scenery here. It's a very small island. It's only like a couple of miles wide, a couple of miles long. Not much to it. Okay. Hopefully the camera will stay without falling. So that's your little tour of our beach area here at Grand Turk. So, do your research for the Mardi Gras before you come on board. Like I said, I'll be putting together a ship tour, my cruiser view. I can tell you right now that there are two things that are going to be sort of at the top of the irritation list. Let's put it that way, and that is the internet, which is very strange. There are certain things that it seems to do halfway decent. Like right now, I'm able to stream continuously up to YouTube with a pretty decent signal. But like browsing the web sometimes and just using the app just is very slow. And I don't know if that's because everybody on the ship's trying to do that same kind of generic kind of stuff and they throttle that somehow. It's just the experience will likely be irritating depending on how you use it. And then the other thing that's weird is the only way I'm going to phrase it are the elevators. The elevators are very narrow, so they're very small. You can only put like 6, maybe 8 people in an elevator, depending on how big they are. You know, and then the other thing about that is that everybody, at least on this cruise, has just been like cramming into the elevator. So I've been trying to avoid the elevator, like when possible, taking the stairs. So we're on deck 9, which is not bad because we can easily walk down and be on 8, 7, or 6 and be in that promenade kind of area that runs the length of the ship. But if we have to go up to the Lido, then that's, going from deck 9 up to deck 16. So couldn't get to Caicos, but nice knowing you two islands. Well, Lucy's mom, you never know.
What?
So hopefully you might still get a chance to go at some point in the future. But thanks for joining me. Make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on so that you'll see all the vlog videos and everything else that comes out once I get back home and start cranking it out. And make sure you give us a thumbs up. No. Jesse, Mardi Gras is not running at full capacity. We overheard somebody telling one of their friends 70%, and I think they had asked one of the crew members. So we sort of took that as, well, the crew member told them 70% capacity. So, but I think I also heard that in the coming weeks they're going to be inching their way up to 100%. So if you're coming on in what, September? Yeah. Hopefully by the time you get here in September, there will be two things that happen. One, they will drop the effing face masks. See, I just ran into an issue with the internet. We just dropped a few frames there, so as soon as I start talking about the internet, it starts giving me problems. By September, hopefully two things will happen. All of these damn face masks will go away, and it'll be closer to a normal cruise at 100%. So now, I don't know if that's good or bad, depending on your viewpoint. So at 70% capacity, it's been pretty full. Pretty lively on the ship. Let's put it that way. So it's the face masks are the biggest pain in the ass. Having to wear them constantly, everywhere. The only time you can basically take them off is if you're outdoors on the ship. But anywhere inside the ship right now, we have to wear them for all 3 of the ports, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Amber Cove, Dominican Republic, and Grand Turk, we had to wear the mask outside walking around. Like, really? So, but it was a local requirement. So, yeah, I really hope you don't either. I'm going to be on a transatlantic cruise in September that leaves Europe and comes over to Boston, and I really don't want to wear masks on that either. So, we'll see. Our next cruise is in May on Harmony of the Seas, and I'm hoping by then that the masks will be gone too. So by September, I think there's hopefully a good chance that will happen. So, but nobody knows the future, of course. But hopefully that's the direction we're going in. So, biggest thing about the Mardi Gras is, I would say, do your research. Watch all of the YouTube videos you can find out there, including mine, and all the stuff I'm going to put out, but everybody else's, just whatever you can find. Go to the Carnival website, pull up the deck plan, and kind of familiarize yourself with the deck plan ahead of time. Go to the Carnival website, make sure that you go through and you make your reservations for things early, restaurant reservations, things like that, excursions, etc. The excursions won't sell out early. I mean, some will, depending on what it is. But a lot of times the excursions sorry about that. Her internet just Yep, sorry about that. The internet is just crapping out. So, I mentioned it earlier about the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi will potentially be irritating, depending on what you do with it, how often you use it, etc. So, thank you, Lucy's mom. Yep. We plan to do Europe, England, Ireland, and Scotland in the fall of 2023. So we've already got it all mapped out. So that's next year's big trip in the fall. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Oh yeah. What I was going to say before the internet dropped out on me. Anyway. Yeah, I know it was. If you do the excursions on the Carnival website, a lot of times you can save money. Of course, if you do one of the more popular ones, get it before it sells out. Abbott EMED COVID test to fly back into the U.S. cruise in the Mediterranean. Ooh. You'll definitely want to check up on that. My guess would be you can. On the cruise in the Mediterranean. I would take a look at the U.S. State Department website. They would probably have, let's see. Actually, give me a second and I might be able to find that out for you. The U.S. State Department is going to have the best information on that. Of course, the Wi-Fi here is so damn slow. See, this is what I'm talking about. When you're just doing like browsing the web on here, the Wi-Fi is like horrendously slow. And yet somehow I'm able to stream to YouTube, so it's like cruise set lifestyle. That's cool. That's very cool of you, Lucy's mom. I am trying to find COVID procedures for coming back in. We got some prints in the background here. Let's see, COVID test for re-entering. I'm telling you, that Margaritaville Resort up there, it's like they've cranked their volume level up even higher. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Alright, I think I found something for you. Alright, you'll want to take a look at that. So, my CPU 2U, that's about the best I can tell you at the moment. So, take a look in there, see what you can find. In terms of regulations, requirements, that'll be probably the best place to start. Man, they have got the prints like cranked over here at Margaritaville. I guess they know everybody on the beach is probably enjoying that, so they've got it like cranked. YouTube's gonna have a field day with that, I'm sure. Yeah, we were actually supposed to go to Europe this fall of 2021, and no problem. Hopefully that helps. Like I said, take a look at that in that website, because that's the from the State Department, so that should tell you what you need to know in terms of coming back in. That uncertainty about all of that travel into and out of the U.S. was kind of part of the reason we had to ditch our plans for Europe for last fall and push them back into the fall of 2023. So it's just we weren't sure what kind of entry requirements there were going to be for going to the UK. Back then when we were looking at it last year, there were going to be quarantine requirements, and things like that, and we weren't sure when they were going to drop those, and so we had to give up on Europe, and so we ended up doing the Scarlet Lady cruise in November of last year instead. So I have all of the planning for doing our trip to Europe in fall of next year, so I can't wait to do that. They're doing the full drawn out version of prints here. I don't know if you can still hear that. Oop, and then all of a sudden, it just cut it off. That was weird. Oh, so you guys have any other questions, comments? Anything I can help you with? I'm just enjoying a beautiful afternoon here on the balcony. Deck 9, port side forward. I think we lost our entertainment at Margaritaville. It was weird. We go from Prince just cranked up to all of a sudden just flatline. I can still see, quite a few people out on the beach. They still have, let's see, it's 2:30 ship time. So everybody still has 2 hours before the all on board time. Yeah, so been 80 degrees all day. Kind of staying pretty consistent in terms of the weather. Some clouds in the sky, partly cloudy, 80 degrees. Oh, Jesse, if you're still with me, well, one thing to consider too is chatting in the app. It works very well. My wife just sent me a chat message through the Carnival Hub app. It was $5 per person for the whole cruise, and so he said it works very, very well. The only sort of caveat to it is you have to have the app open. What is it? You have to have the app open to be notified, or to just see the messages, I guess. So like this whole time I've been sitting here with basically with the app open because I knew that she might send me a message. So no problem. Have a safe trip. This is my CPU to you. Thank you so much. Yep, we're after this. Tomorrow is sea day as we head back to Port Canaveral, and then Saturday morning we're back into port and we drive back home to Orlando. Oh, I hear some Madonna, like a virgin. It's not as loud though. I don't know if that's still coming from Margaritaville or somewhere else. The chat package works very well. It's only text, right? But it definitely works very well, especially if you got like several people. Because what happens is you have to go in there when you buy the package. Then you have to go in and you have to sort of add your family members, and it kind of does like an invite to them. So once you get all that set up, then I'm sure you can have a whole bunch of people in there, just all, I don't know if you can do any group chatting. It might be like single person to single person. So it might be the equivalent of like text messages on a phone. But like, you go in and you pull up like conversations, so you have in the conversations area, you have like a single person, you pull them up and actually, I take that back. You might be able to select multiple people to do a new message. So maybe you can do like a group chat. I don't know. It's just me and my wife. So if there was a party with more people, like a bigger party on the ship together, I'm not sure how that would work. But the performance of the chat has been pretty good. The app overall works pretty well. There have been times on the ship where the app has been kind of like loading, stuck, you get the little spinning deal going on. But for the most part, it's been pretty good. We use it, periodically. Like if she's going to go off to her thermal suites, then I know that I need to check in on the app just to see if she's going to tell me, like, hey, I'm going over here to go do this, whatever. So Mardi Gras, yeah, very interesting ship. I've been thinking throughout the cruise about like that eternal question of would I cruise on this ship again or not, right? I think I probably would. I think I would pay a little more attention to which deck I was on. Oh, Cozumel, Costa Maya, and Mahogany Bay. Excellent. I've been to Cozumel and Costa Maya several times. Let's see, Cozumel, there's quite a few excursions to do. I don't know if you've ever been to those or not before. We've never been to Mahogany Bay. Been to Cozumel half a dozen times, Costa Maya like 3 or 4 times. We were just in Cozumel in God, they're all starting to run together. I'm trying to remember where the cruise in January went. Where did the Mariner of the Seas go? It went out of Carnival. Do you think I'd remember this? Yes, it did go to Cozumel. So we were just in Cozumel in January of this year, January 2022. Oh, that's right, because we did the excursion where you do the chocolate, the tequila, and the honey. The last time we were in Cozumel was November, because we were there with the Scarlet Lady. And all we did that time was have lunch at Palmera's, which is right across from the main ferry terminal there in Cozumel. It's an excellent Mexican restaurant, right there kind of on the water at the ferry terminal. We didn't do any excursions on that cruise. If a cruise film to be made, what roles would you... Oh, I'm a behind the camera person. Maria is too, so we would both want to be like directors and producers, not in front of the camera. The Submarine Tour. Let's see. In Cozumel, we've done the helmet dive. We did the Captain Your Speedboat. Done that before. And then there have been a couple times where we just walked around. So the Submarine Tour, we have not done that one. One thing to be careful of with Cozumel. If you do any excursions where you go over to the mainland, because Cozumel itself is a little island, right? So some of the excursions you have to go over to the Mexican mainland, and those include a thing on the ferry. And so if you do those, be careful with that ferry, because that ferry that goes from Cozumel over to mainland Mexico, they call that the barf boat. Because that Cozumel channel can get very choppy, and that little ferry boat can be very, so you want to watch out for that. I can still make myself useful. Thank you, Lucy's mom. Maybe I'd be the producer. How about that? Yes, because we almost did an excursion over on Mexican mainland. It got canceled because of the weather, and then we found out later that boat, the ferry that takes you from Cozumel over to the mainland, can be rough. So that's one thing to watch out for. So Costa Maya. We did an ATV excursion once in Costa Maya that was really good. They take you out to an area where you ride ATVs in the jungle. That was pretty cool. And then it ended at a resort. We spent some time on the beach. I've actually got, if you look on my channel, it's in the Oasis of the Seas vlog, the playlist that I have on my channel. There's a video in there where I did some drone footage from the resort at Costa Maya. And then I think there's a couple of videos in there also where we did the ATV excursion from Costa Maya. So that was cool. The Costa Maya port is actually pretty new and pretty well developed, because now when you come off the ship, you come into this main area where all of the excursions, you kind of line up for whichever excursion you're going to go on. And then when you go past that, and at the Costa Maya cruise terminal, it goes into an area that opens up. There's a bunch of little shopping there. And then if you go around to the left at Costa Maya, there's sort of like a outdoor pool area with a walk-up bar, and there's a whole bunch of stuff right there, kind of in the Costa Maya cruise terminal. So that's a pretty neat little area that I don't know when they put all that together. The first time we were at Costa Maya was 2008, and none of that existed. And then when we were there again did we go there in 2017? I can't remember. We might have been there again in 2017, and then I think we were there. Yeah, we were there in 2017 because that's when we rode the ATVs. So haven't been there as many times as Cozumel, but Costa Maya is still a pretty cool area. Yep. I have one theory about Mexico that's kind of interesting, and that is the Western Caribbean cruises they need more places to go to, because Cozumel, Costa Maya, and Mahogany Bay, like, you know, that area down there, those are like about the only places you could go to on a Western Caribbean cruise. So ships that are coming out of like Galveston, Texas, for instance, there's not many places for them to go if they're trying to keep the cruise length down to like 5 to 7 nights, because they have to go all the way down the Gulf of Mexico, and so oh, sorry about that. We apparently hit a batch of bad internet there and had some more dropped frames, so sorry about that. You might be able to hear some music. It seems like I think the resort there at Margaritaville is picked back up. So, and they're definitely in, if that's them, they're definitely in a more hip-hop mood than they were earlier, because earlier they were playing kind of more mainstreamy stuff, but this is a little more hardcore. I don't know. There's still a decent number of people out on the beach, so I can't really see the pool area. I can see that there are people over there, but my glass here for the balcony is too dirty. That's why I had to set the camera up on top. So I don't know. I can't see how many people over there. And I can definitely hear their music. So on the very far right side of the camera view is what you're looking at is that's kind of the building where the duty free is over there. Like the white rooftops on the far right side of the camera. I wonder if that would be the right side or the left side. And then the white rooftops kind of in the center is the Margaritaville Resort. Just give you an idea. Oh, I hear. Back that ass up. I can't tell if it's the clean version or the dirty version. The volume's kind of fading in and out a little bit, so I don't know if it's coming from Margaritaville or not. I think it is. Anyway. Alright, so I think tomorrow we've got one more live stream for tomorrow, which is our sea day. So I may do it again from the Grand Central. I don't know yet. I'll have to figure out where, but probably be 3 o'clock Eastern tomorrow for the last live stream. So kind of one of those, why not? Tomorrow's just a day at sea, and why not spend some time with you guys? So got another live stream scheduled for tomorrow at 3, and probably the Grand Atrium one last time, or the center stage, Grand Central area, in the middle of the ship. So, but we'll see. So until then, make sure you're subscribed to the channel with the notification bell on, so that you're notified whenever I put the videos up, when we go live, etc., etc. Please consider giving us a like on YouTube. It lets them know that you like what we're doing. And really appreciate you tuning in with me and enjoying this beautiful weather here at Grand Turk. So I hope to see you again tomorrow, probably from center stage around 3 p.m. Eastern.